Thank you, Chairman Molinar, Ranking Member Krishnamurthy, and members of the committee for having me here today. I appreciate your focus on highlighting the Chinese Communist Party's domination of market manipulation when it comes to critical minerals. Lithium Americas is proud to be part of the conversation and the solution. My name is Jonathan Evans. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Lithium Americas. We're developing the critical Thacker Pass project, a fully integrated mining and processing operation located in Humboldt County in northern Nevada, which hosts the largest known measured lithium resource and reserve in the world. Thacker Pass is owned by a joint venture between Lithium Americas and General Motors. Our immediate focus is advancing phase one of the project towards production, targeting nominal design capacity of 40,000 tons per year of battery-grade lithium carbonate. Once online, phase one will increase U.S. lithium production tenfold and could meet roughly 20% of the U.S. processed lithium demand. We're grateful for the U.S. Department of Energy's $2.23 billion loan, which will help finance the construction and processing facilities at Thacker Pass. Together with our partners in administration, we are strengthening America's supply chain, creating high-quality jobs, and bolstering our long-term energy security and prosperity. Onshoring large-scale U.S. lithium production is not optional. Lithium is a critical element of national security, powering a vast array of defense technologies to sustain both resilient military operations and essential civilian infrastructure. Beyond its strategic importance, lithium represents a powerful driver of economic growth and energy independence, creating American jobs, strengthening domestic industries, and bolstering long-term energy resilience. Yet the United States remains dangerously dependent on foreign countries, including China, for this critical mineral. The U.S. currently produces less than 1% of the U.S. global supply of lithium. This is not merely an economic vulnerability, it poses a direct threat to national security. China, recognizing lithium's strategic value, has aggressively moved to dominate the global supply chain. From mining and refining to battery manufacturing, Chinese companies now control roughly 70% of the global lithium chemical processing capacity, using state-backed subsidies, and predatory pricing to suppress competition and cement their market dominance. I'll add they control over 80% of the battery production in the world. While the U.S. played a critical role in developing lithium-ion battery in the 1980s, China has since built the infrastructure and industrial base needed to dominate the global market and shows no intention of relinquishing that control. The CCP views dominance over critical minerals as a matter of geopolitical strategy. Through a coordinated, decades-long effort, China has systematically secured control over key mineral supply chains to shape their global markets in their favor. China now leads the global lithium industry, not only in mining and processing raw materials, but also in manufacturing critical components such as battery cathodes, electrolytes, and the batteries themselves. The CCP actively supports its domestic companies in acquiring foreign assets, offering them low to no interest loans and political backing to secure supply chains abroad. This pattern is evident across regions including Africa, Australia, and Latin America. To maintain its dominance, China has depressed global lithium prices to discourage investment by non-Chinese firms and to deter public or private capital from entering the market. Despite soaring demand and double-digit annual growth in lithium applications, this price manipulation has constrained the development of independent, transparent supply chains. Efforts by Western entities to establish transparent market-based price indexes have been undermined or displaced by Chinese-controlled platforms such as the Shanghai Metals Market and the London Metals Exchange, both of which are now controlled by Chinese pricing data. As a result, global financial institutions rely on distorted benchmarks, limiting Western firms' ability to secure financing and expand non-Chinese lithium supply chains. We cannot let the CCP continue to dominate critical minerals. We are thankful that President Trump, his administration, and Congress are focused on this and that the U.S. government is partnering with companies like Lithium America to ensure a strategic global supply chain. Thacker Pass is the only fully permitted under construction lithium production project on U.S. soil. This project will put the U.S. on a path to self-sufficiency, but it's just a start. But developing projects like Thacker Pass is highly risky. The upfront costs for exploration, permitting, appeals, and community engagement are high, and the timelines are long and uncertain, which deter private investment. Targeting federal support, including streamlined and predictable permitting, timely resolution of appeals, and tools to de-risk early strategies can help ensure these projects are successful. The U.S. cannot compete globally unless important national projects can be built in a timely manner. The formal permitting and subsequent appeals process for Thacker Pass took nearly 5 years. We were actually considered fast-tracked, given the process typically takes 7 to 10 years in the U.S., which is among the longest in the world. Such lengthy, unpredictable, and litigation-prone processes discourage private capital from investing domestically. The federal government must also continue to explore financial support via low-cost loans and other structural financial instruments to help fund projects and attract private capital to co-invest. We also need to establish programs and tools that deliver true price transparency. Public capital markets are dissuaded from financing and supporting non-China-backed supply chains, given the global narrative has been hijacked by China and its pricing models. The same pattern appears in other critical minerals, including rare earths. Despite weak headline prices, China continues to acquire overseas lithium and other key resources, often at discounted valuations, reinforcing its market power. The U.S. can level the playing field by supporting a temporary minimum price tied to validated market price base production costs. Today, China is running high-cost domestic capacity below cost, backstopped by subsidies, to flood this market and depress prices. In November, the CEO of CATL, which is the largest battery manufacturer in the world, admitted to this, telling Reuters that they were now stopping production at their mine as they achieved their goal of lowering lithium prices. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak to you today. Securing America's lithium supply is about far more than resource development. It's about safeguarding the nation's economic future, technological leadership, and national security. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Mr. Schlossiter, you may now proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to appear. Since its inception, the Select Committee has made the security of America's rare earth supply chain a top priority. We deeply appreciate your leadership and the chance to engage consistently on this critical issue. I appear today on behalf of MP Materials, the largest and most commercially advanced rare earth producer in the United States. We own and operate Mountain Pass, America's only scaled rare earth mine and processing facility, which we rescued from bankruptcy in 2017. To restore the full supply chain, inclusive of mining, refining, magnet manufacturing, and recycling, we built Independence, the first fully integrated magnet facility built in the United States in a generation in Fort Worth, Texas. When MP was founded in 2017, America's supply chain was at a complete standstill. Today, after investing more than $1 billion of private capital into our U.S. operations, Mountain Pass is the world's second most productive rare earth mine and an indispensable cornerstone for a secure end-to-end supply chain in the United States. We've restored refining capabilities, produced the first rare earth metal in decades, and are commissioning full-scale magnet production. Our workforce has grown from 8, literally a team of 8, to nearly 1,000 people across California, Texas, and Nevada. In the coming years, MP Materials will invest another $1 billion to execute our public-private partnership with the Pentagon and deliver for our foundational customers, including General Motors and Apple, creating over 1,000 incremental new manufacturing jobs and scaling U.S. capabilities across every link of that supply chain. Your investigation makes incredibly clear what we have experienced directly at MP Materials. While China's industry is highly skilled and highly capable, its dominant position is both enabled and hardened by subsidies, price manipulation, and scale. In the early years of our business, we produced mineral concentrate at Mountain Pass that could only be sold into China, the sole market with the refining capacity to process it. We reinvested those profits to build U.S. refining capabilities at Mountain Pass. But as we prepared to launch, neodymium praseodymium prices, the price of the key commodity, collapsed to levels below even China's lowest production costs. That predatory pricing destroyed incentives to invest, and it kept capital scarce. China's sweeping export controls this year were a significant wake-up call. They disrupted supply chains, triggered factory shutdowns in the United States, and they underscored an important truth. Rare earths may be a small upstream industry worth just tens of billions of dollars, but they underpin trillions in downstream economic activity and millions of jobs. Physical AI, robotics, advanced semiconductors, electric vehicles, blenders, everything. These are the industries that are the backbone of the U.S. economy. This vulnerability created the conditions for urgent coordinated action. In July of this year, MP Materials and the Pentagon entered into a transformative public-private partnership. The agreements are anchored by 3 pillars closely aligned with this committee's recommendations, and they reflect the urgency that the chair and the ranking member have called for. We are grateful for the bipartisan support expressed by the chairman and ranking member following this announcement. It's a clear signal of the importance of securing and acting to restore America's rare earth supply chain. First, the partnership is anchored by a price floor agreement that directly addresses the market-distorting practices identified by this investigation. Second, it includes a 10-year magnet offtake commitment, enabling us to invest well over another $1 billion in the coming years to take our U.S. production capacity towards a tenfold increase to 10,000 metric tons of magnets per year. Finally, it includes a transformational capital investment that positions the Pentagon as MP's largest shareholder. Now, this feature ensures that taxpayers share in the upside opportunity created by the partnership's features, including mechanisms like the price floor. Based on our current market capitalization, this stake has already generated approximately $700 million in unrealized gains for taxpayers. These measures demonstrate how public-private partnerships can deliver national security benefits while creating opportunities for taxpayers and the federal government to share in the upside rather than simply absorbing risk and losses. The bipartisan recommendations contained in this committee's report offer a strong blueprint, and we endorse its direction. Where appropriate, the federal government should deploy tools that neutralize predatory pricing. Congress should level the playing field in trade. Congress should support workforce development initiatives. Congress should endeavor to reasonably compress permitting timelines for high-standard projects. The United States should pursue sectoral arrangements with trusted allies and partners. And finally, the United States should incentivize and reward American companies that source U.S.-produced critical minerals and derivative products. It is worth noting the irony that China is not only the largest producer of rare earths, but also the largest end market for both materials and magnets. They're the largest customer. Strong, deliberate action by U.S. companies, akin to the agreements we signed with General Motors in 2022 and Apple earlier this year, can help reverse decades of dependency. Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, members of the committee, America can achieve resiliency again. We share your view that doing so is no longer optional. Supply chains are the front lines of industrial and national security. Beijing's escalation this year was a wake-up call. In the near term, its actions were disruptive and costly, but they may ultimately prove to be a strategic miscalculation. If we respond with sustained resolve, these actions can become a catalyst for rebuilding a secure, competitive supply chain that takes this issue off the table once and for all. Thank you for your attention to this urgent issue, and I look forward to your questions.